Good morning, Facebook family and YouTube subscribers. All right, so let's get this over with. Today is September the 10th, 2013. My epilogue on my journey to... All right. As you all know, I'm a convicted felon. I've served time in prison. I did a couple of videos about it. This is kind of like an epilogue video. I'm going to go back to the prison stories in the next few videos. But a lot of people want to know, what did I do to end up getting in trouble with the law and going to prison? There's been so many lies and rumors, and so I said, let me just, I don't mind discussing this. It's difficult to discuss. It's difficult. On one hand, it's difficult. The other hand, I don't mind discussing it. But I'm going to state this. The reason why I do these videos is I want us to discuss and talk about stuff. And I'm hoping that people learn from my mistakes. I'm 43 years of age. I've made a ton of mistakes over the years. I'm hoping that people learn from my mistakes, grow from the stories I tell, and learn and grow and don't make the same mistakes I made. So I want to say, I'm doing this video for people who are under the age of 25, because I think that group of people, especially teenagers, late teens, early 20s, are influenced by, that group of people can be easily influenced by other people, because that's how I ended up committing a life of crime in my late teens, early 20s, because I was influenced by some people I really admire. I was 18 years of age when I moved to Atlanta in 1989, and I quickly got in with some very handsome, attractive guys. I went to the club one night. These guys approached me like vampires. I mean, I'll never forget this. They approached me. I was out on the dance floor dancing, and I'd be a little kid, and these attractive guys just kind of gathered around me. And I didn't know this at the time, but the question was, they were trying to figure out which one of them were going to have sex with me. So I'm like, wow, these are some fine brothers. I'm dancing. Like, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. There were very few black gay men in Cincinnati, Ohio. For me to come from Atlanta to Cincinnati, come to Atlanta, and see these thousands of attractive black gay men, I was blown away. And to see that these guys found me to be attractive, I was even more shocked, So, literally the first night I went to Loretta's, I met this group of guys. And I ended up going to breakfast with them, going back to their place, spending the night with them, hanging with them. We became really, really good friends. And as I gradually got to know them, none of them were really my type, and I wasn't really their type either. But we became really, really, really good friends. And they were, in my eyes, they were rich. They had these nice cars. They had these beautiful apartments. They had these beautiful furnishings and clothes and shoes. And I remember just staring and thinking, oh my God, what did they do? How do they have all this money? How is this possible? I mean, and I was like, when do they go to work? When do they go to work? Now, if you're an 18-year-old kid and you walk into an environment where everybody sleep all day, but they're staying in this fabulous apartment with these beautiful furnishings and expensive TVs and expensive clothes, and everybody's there, I didn't know what was going on, because I hadn't come from anything. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, a little country town as I see it, looking back. Well, I didn't know anything about illegal activities. I knew about drugs, but I didn't see these guys selling any drugs. And they would sneak out and do what they were doing, and they would leave me to watch their apartment. Oh, Walter, we'll be back. We'll see you in about 30, 40 minutes. We'll be back. We're going to take care of something. So I'm sitting in this apartment like, wow, you guys going to leave me here by myself? But little did I know, they were sneaking out to go do their dirt, and then they would come back, and of course I'd be there cleaning up, happy, loving this place. Or I had to go to work. I'm like, I got to go to work. I got to go. And I had 2 jobs at the time. I was not supposed to be in Atlanta. That's a whole other video right there. But I decided to stay because I saw these black gay men, and I was like, I'm not leaving this. I'm staying right here. My mother we were at war, literally, about me staying in Atlanta. And that escalated once my mother found out about these young men I was hanging with. And she found out my mother was very smart. She got Johnny, she was Ooh, Lord, I have to tell y'all about that. We're going to discuss how my mother was able to see what I couldn't see very quickly. My mother knew something was not right with these men that I was dealing with. So here I was with these guys, and I didn't know what was going on. They didn't want to tell me what was going on. And I'm working 2 jobs, and this went on for a little while, a couple of weeks, maybe even a couple of months. I'm going back and forth to work, and I'm with this group of guys, and when we would go to the club, I was with the in crowd. They had the nice clothes, nice cars, I had a new car, a little stick shift Chevy Geo. I forget what that thing was called. It was something, new car, a little stick shift, not spectacular, but it got me around, and I was happy with it. Don't forget, I'm only 18 years old. By this time, I was turning 19. And one day, a guy at the club, I never forget this, he walked up to me and he said, "You seem like a really nice guy. Why are you hanging with these thieves and crooks?" And I remember thinking, what is this man talking about? I remember, because Sheldon, bless his soul, Mr. Sheldon was from Detroit. Sheldon told me he was an engineer. And Sheldon would sneak out and leave the apartment and leave me there sometimes to watch the apartment. They always like to have somebody at the apartment, which I love to watch the apartment, because I can watch TV, relax. I'd have a nice time, get on the phone, call little people I had met. And Sheldon would tell me he was an engineer and he was going to work. And Sheldon was not an engineer. He was not going to work. Sheldon was going out there writing checks in the Atlanta area. I had no clue, because they didn't tell me. And I really didn't ask, and I was very young. And it goes back to my mother's intuition. She knew something was wrong the day she met these guys. But I am going to do a video about that, because I think a mother's heart and soul can tell when their children are getting involved in something that's not right. My mother immediately knew something wasn't right, but I couldn't see it, because I didn't know. My mother was way more experienced at life than me. I was a little kid dealing with a bunch of thieves and crooks, but I had no clue. So anyway, I never forget, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Taco Bell and the Ramada Renaissance Hotel in College Park as a steward. And I would work at Taco Bell in the daytime. I was at the hotel during the daytime, and I was as a steward, and I was at Taco Bell in the evening time. So I would run from one job to the next job, and I would head straight to their place. I would go home, change clothes, take a shower. I was like, "Where are you going?" "I gotta go, Mom, I gotta go." I was rushing to get to their house, and I knew we were gonna go out to the club, we were gonna party all night. We partied every single night. We did. It was drinks, laughter, fun. I was enjoying being around these guys. Still didn't have a clue what they were doing, because they told me Sheldon was an engineer. Robert's mother was wealthy and rich and taking care of him. They had concocted some very good stories. I was young, stupid, I didn't know. I believed them. So one day, I was sitting at Sheldon's house, and I just got, intrigued about something that I saw. I saw a little bag that he tried to hide from me, I don't know how to describe it, like a little suitcase. It was a little small suitcase thing. And I walked into his bedroom, and he had tucked it under the bed. I saw him, as I was leaving his room, I saw him hiding it back under the bed. So later on that day, when they left me to babysit the apartment, while they went to work, I was off work that day, I went and looked in the suitcase. I couldn't get it open because it was locked. But I went and got me an old butter knife, because I wanted to know what was in there. Something was telling me something's in the suitcase. You need to see what's in the suitcase. And I was thinking drugs. So I finally got a little butter knife, and I popped the thing open. And there were all these IDs, various names, and there were some checks. And I remember looking at this stuff, and it scared me. And I'm looking at this stuff. I still didn't know what it was, but I know this. I'm like, was this man lying about his name? I saw all these IDs. So I had a fake ID to get into the club. Just because I was only a little kid, so I don't remember what, but I had got a fake ID that said I was a little bit older than what I was, so I had to use that to get back and forth into the club. So, but this was clearly not to get into nobody's club, because there were multiple IDs from various states and fake IDs and checks and all kinds of stuff. And I remember I left. left the apartment. When they came back, I left. And I didn't come back for a few days. And I remember thinking, oh my God, something's not right. Something's not right about this situation. Something's wrong here. And I remember I was at Piedmont Park standing there by myself, because at this point I kind of separated myself from those guys. And I saw a friend of theirs who knew them. And he was like, why are you not with your friends? I haven't seen you hanging around there. And I was like, oh, no, I'm just, I'll see them later. And I told him what I saw. And I told him I was going to go to the police with what I saw. I knew something was not right, and I had told him, I made the mistake of telling him, who was an associate of theirs, that I was going to go to the police because I saw something. I knew it was some illegal activities. Now it all explained to me what was going on. And I remember him standing there saying, they're not hurting anybody. They're just having a little bit of fun. They're just enjoying life. It's not nothing that's it's not harmful to anyone. It's not. And then he explained to me what they were doing. And then he also told me that Sheldon was about to lose his apartment. And I was like, about to lose his apartment? Why? And he's like, well, because he hadn't been able to, whatever he was doing had not been working out so well. So, Sheldon was about to lose his apartment. The tow truck was looking for his car. So I'm thinking like, okay. So, I don't know why I did this, but I went to their apartment and I confronted Sheldon. I said, Sheldon, what are you doing over here? I was a little kid. And Sheldon, I mean, they would call me. He had, at this point, Sheldon had these little nicknames for me. My nickname was Chicken Hawk. Don't ask why. So, Chicken Hawk, what are you talking about? So me and Sheldon were talking and everything, and I was trying to get Sheldon to confess the truth to me, what he was doing. And finally, one of the guys came in, and I said, well, I heard you about to lose this apartment because they're about to evict you because you don't have the money to pay the rent. And I'll never forget one of the sweethearts. Me and Sheldon would get into it, and Alonzo, God rest his soul. I was in love with Alonzo. Oh my God, I was in love with that man. I looked at Alonzo as if he was a god. He was 6'2", 6'3", solid muscle. That man was gorgeous. He was handsome. Anyways, Alonzo passed away. But anyway, Alonzo and I had become really good friends. And Alonzo sat down and broke it down to me and told me, just went on and said, fuck it, this is what's going on. And this is not working. So I went to looking at the IDs that he had. I'm listening to what he was saying, and I'm looking at the IDs. And you guys have to remember, I graduated valedictorian from high school. I had the highest ACT and SAT scores in Cincinnati, Ohio, the year my junior year of high school. I'm a very smart young man. So I looked at this stuff, and he was explaining what was going on, and I said, well, why don't you change this, and change that, and change this? In fact, I can help you change this, that, and I just very quickly, I was able to help him figure out a way to do things a little bit different with his IDs and stuff. I'm not going to tell y'all what I did. I don't want people to ever get involved with what I was doing because I don't think that it is a positive thing. I don't look at it as a positive thing. I just think I was a very naive kid who just got caught up in something that I didn't clearly understand. So anyway, one thing led to another, and I began running with Sheldon and Alonzo. In a few days, we had rounded up his rent money, so he was able to pay his rent. A few days later, we were able to help him get his car note paid. And it got to a point that they were coming to literally pick me up from work. And I would help them try to figure out where we're going to go next, how we're going to do it, plotting it out. And they were loving this stuff. Because they realized, okay, this boy is smart. And I was a little kid, and I had just grasped what they were doing. It was so elementary. And I was like, this is very simple. I mean, this is easy. But they didn't want me to do it. I'll be very honest with you. They did not want me to do it. It was like, no, Walter, don't get involved in this. Just show us what to do, and we will give you. And they gave me stuff, shoes, money, all kinds of stuff. that I never forget. I came home one day with a brand new pair of Nike Air Jordans, this Nike outfit, and I was dressed really nice. And my mother saw me in these clothes, and she took my car keys, and she hid them. And I was trying to get out of there, and I'm looking for my car keys. I'm like, I can't find my car keys. Where are my car keys? My mother had took those car keys because she was trying to stop me from leaving. Lord have mercy, if I could just go back in time and say, to that day and say, well, sit your ass down on that couch. Your mother's trying to stop you from something that's going to be really bad for you. And me and my mother got into it because I realized she had my car keys because she started talking all this crazy stuff, and she grabbed out the Bible and she was just going crazy, and I was like, she got my keys. We about to fight. Lord, we got into it, something terrible that day. Something awful. And I actually called somebody and they came and got me. So I left my car there. And we'll talk about that at a later date. But this is just part of it. Yeah, because these stories can go on forever. I'm already at 16 minutes. This is way more than... That kind of gives you an idea of what I got involved in. I was very naive. I was a little kid. I was impressionable. These men, they were attractive. So this is how I think people get involved in criminal activity. If you don't know any better, I clearly didn't know any better, what I was getting involved in, I desired what they had, and I really desired, I wanted them to accept me and make me part of the group. I just didn't want to babysit no apartment no more. I wanted to be a part of what they were doing for a variety of reasons. But I was a little kid. And we'll go back and go into more details about what took place. But that was the start. Me running with Sheldon and Alonzo. And then I decided I was going to create my own little empire. Because the more I learned from Sheldon and Alonzo, the more I said, well, I can do this on my own. I don't have to work these two jobs. I was still working. So, anyway, if you like my videos, please click like. And give me some feedback. Have you ever done something, got involved in something because you were influenced by other people, which is how I got involved in check writing, as they called it, in the early 90s. Give me some feedback, what you think about today's video. I'm about to finish cooking breakfast, and I'll do a part 2 later as to how I created my own illegal empire based upon the information and knowledge I gained from Robert, Sheldon, and Alonzo. Bless all their souls. They were wonderful people. They're no longer with us today, and they were my friends. You guys have a great day, and I'm out of here.